Nebraska Governor Jim Pullen came to Norfolk this afternoon to honor veterans of the Korean War. KTIV's Larry Wentz was there and has more on the ceremony honoring those veterans.
Thank you to the veterans, because without the veterans, without the United States of America, without the veterans, we would be a vastly different country.
Governor Jim Pullen made sure 14 veterans of the Korean War, sometimes called the Forgotten War, weren't forgotten by a grateful nation. There are 14 veterans of the Korean War who now live at the State Veterans Home in Norfolk, and each of them received a coin of special recognition for their service. Some of the veterans still suffer from their time fighting the North Koreans and the Chinese.
I spent 14 weeks up there in the trench on the top of that mountain. I froze my feet, I froze my hands, I lost my hearing from the big guns that's shooting.
Another veteran, Milton Schwartz, is still able to fit into part of the uniform he wore in the Army.
It's something I never expected to get, and I certainly do appreciate the thanks people are giving us.
During his address, Governor Pullen got emotional, talking about his father's time in the military. Pullen urged all veterans to tell the next generations their story and about the price of freedom we enjoy today because of their service and sacrifice.
If we can get our veterans that are still with us comfortable enough to be uncomfortable, to tell the stories so we never forget what the price of freedom is.
Reporting from Norfolk, Nebraska, Larry Wentz, KTIV News 4.
Today's ceremony is part of a statewide initiative launched by Governor Pullen earlier this year, aiming to honor all of Nebraska's living Korean War veterans.